Our fourth and final day of this four-day retreat here in the Franciscan Center in Tampa, Florida, looking into the teachings of some of the great Tibetan Dzogchen, Great Perfection masters, and today, because the title said Dzogchen and Zen masters, today we will spend a little time looking at one of the great John Masters, Zen Master Linchi. So for these 4 days we have been journeying. We have had the wonderful opportunity to receive teachings from, as I said, many great masters. And we've been, as somebody said, we've really sort of skimmed the cream. I mean, the Dharma is lovely and profound from the beginning to the end, but we were able to kind of pick and choose. And so we really got a very comprehensive smorgasbord of Bodhidharma. And I hope as we come into our final day that you have been struck by this incredible repository of wisdom and understanding and compassion that is such a complete complete exposition of the world and its inhabitants, the inhabitants and their minds, and really gives us a precise, clear view of why things are the way they are, and most importantly, how we can go about transforming. So we are able, both within ourselves, in our own life, to lead an enlightened life, supported by an enlightened mind, and by being supported by an enlightened mind and leading an enlightened life, we can contribute in one way or another to the enlightenment of the world. And the enlightenment of the world, of course, meaning the end of the suffering, the self-created suffering that human beings create for themselves, for other species on Earth, and now even our very planet. So again, I would hope, don't rely on me. Develop your own relationship with these teachers and masters. I mean, these are all available. I mean, this Buddhist tradition, especially in the traditions that focused on meditation and realization, I mean, just chock full of realized beings, men and women. And, it is unfortunate that today most people seem to read the modern interpreters of Buddhism. Don't rely on that. Because you have no idea whether you're getting authentic Dharma and enlightened Dharma. You may be getting something that's very understandable, accessible, but I encourage you to go to the original source. In the same way, in our meditations of these vast few evenings, we have stressed in our own minds, going to the original source, not just playing with concepts, not just rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic, but actually penetrating to the very source of wisdom and understanding that is what enlivens the minds of all the great teachers and masters. So I encourage you to, we say the verse, may I be companions of Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, and then again we turn to the next page. That's what it says. You know, if you're on this journey in life, why not have the best companions? Right? I mean, if you're going on a long journey in your life, wouldn't you want to have the best people along with you? Right? These great teachers are the best that the human race has produced, because they have devoted themselves single-mindedly to the cultivation of this great mind and heart of wisdom and compassion, and have in their great kindness written down and shared these teachings, not for their own benefit, but for ours. So please, again, please avail yourself. There are these days many wonderful translations are available. Make them your companions. It's nice to have companions, you know, sort of like you, but at the end of the day, it's like the blind leading the blind. Doesn't mean the blind and the blind can't offer friendship and support to each other. But it's good to have companions who can see clearly. So please avail yourself of these great companions on the way. The title of the book, I don't have the book with me. It's by Matthew Ricard, and it's something about the great masters on the path to enlightenment. There you go, by Matthew Ricard. He doesn't have all that many books, and it's an anthology. But again, hopefully when you read the anthology and these little bits, you'll be interested in the original sources. There's lots of original sources. And again, you know, it may not be as easy to understand as some of the modern writers. You know, there may be some where we have to kind of really struggle a little bit to really understand deeply what they're saying. You know, but we shouldn't be lazy intellectually. And again, we shouldn't, you know. Anyhow, I think I've said what I want to say. So before we move into our final teaching, are there any questions? Anything? I mean, we've had, I think we've had a great breadth of teaching and practice over these days. And I hope through the practices we've done, especially on these last two evenings, you have a deeper sense of your mind. And you have a sense of how to live this life from this depth, that this is the place you live from, rather than out on the surface of these waves of thoughts and emotions and issues, and, you know, that just always buffeting you about, that you kind of realize, oh, you know, when we talk about a deeper way to live, it really means that. It's not just a word. It means there is a depth to your being that you are living in and from. It's much more intimate. You know, most of us are always chasing the horse when it's gotten out of the barn. Stay close to the horse. Keep the barn door closed. And when you open it, know what you're doing, so you don't let the horse out. So are there any questions? Yes, Maria.
Behind you is that small step.
Yeah, somebody, good. Yeah, there's a question. Is this your question? No, somebody else is harassing me about that. All right.
I have to say something.
Yeah, but then I'll yeah.
Because I think it goes with the ancient masters. From my point of view here, not having such great vision anymore, it looks like he's holding a baby. And then I go close and it's not a baby.
No, it's not a baby. No, this guy would not be holding babies. He wasn't a politician, you know. But I'll tell you about it in a minute when we begin the teaching. Alex, yes.
Just like some people shouldn't go to scary movies before they go to bed, when you give these Dzogchen teachings, it disturbs my sleep. So
Good.
I know that something's happening, and I know you would say, cool.
Yeah. Sleepers awake.
So I feel this Gordian knot last night. You know, you asked me to untie it a little bit, and it wouldn't untie, and I was thinking about it. So it caused me to be restless, wake up. You know, there's something that, first when I thought about it, it was almost fatiguing, because you're teaching something that is beyond words, beyond concepts, beyond representation, and I'm struggling to take it in. So it's fatiguing. But what I wanted to ask you was, you sort of went back and forth between, again, trying to help us understand this awareness, and I was thinking in terms of consciousness, because I know consciousness. You know, I can say, okay, this person's conscious, this person's unconscious. You know, this person's brain dead. But with awareness, it's different from what you were conveying. So clearly you can be conscious and unaware, because I lived most of my life like that. But can you be aware and unconscious?
Okay, so yeah, so that's an interesting question. But the first, more important question was about your struggle in the night with this Gordian, you called it a Gordian knot. But look how you approach that Gordian knot intellectually. What if you just stopped trying to figure it out intellectually and actually just relaxed into whatever it is? Gordian knot is just the words, right? It's, I mean, right? There's no Gordian knot inside you. I just want to get that clear. But there's something, right? And you just want to go into that and just find out what that is by knowing it. We know something by entering it. When we are intellectually trying to understand something, we're outside it, thinking about it, trying to figure it out. But in this tradition, we penetrate. We have a direct experience of, and then it's quite simple. I assure you, that which you are calling the Gordian knot, whatever that struggle or that knot is, it can be easily known if you're just willing to let yourself be present to it and let it tell you what it's about. If there's something going on inside, that which is going on inside knows what's going on inside. It knows. You're saying that you don't know. Well, how do you know something? You have to enter it, then you know it. So to me, that's the most important thing. Not something to skip over, but just, okay? And I'll talk to you privately about consciousness and awareness, because we have things to accomplish today. Yes, Candace.
The other day you talked about afflictive emotions, how at the center of all afflictive emotions is the ego. And I was contemplating that. Ricard's other book on altruism came for me, and I thought about now I can experience, if you are going through some pain, and I have great empathy for you, I go through that pain with you. And that's not about the ego. I guess that's all I wanted to say, because when you said that, that struck me as very, very true. That at the center of all of my afflictive emotions was my ego. And I do think empathy is different.
Yeah, so the question is afflictive emotions. Everything's related to self. But empathy. So empathy is this quality of connection. Right? It really comes because in truth, we are connected. That is why we can see what somebody's going through and kind of feel it. Right? It's not just intellectual; we can feel it. So that is a demonstration of kind of the interness of all experience. But even empathy can be contaminated by self. Such as what? I mean, I meet people who tell me, I'm a very empathic person. As if, the empathy is mine. And I want to let you know what kind of person I am. You see, already it's been frozen, reified, modified, and packaged. Right? What's the package? Me. I want to let you know what an empathic person I am. And now I'm empathic, I'm compassionate. How do you like that? I'm an empathic and compassionate person. You see? Aren't I just wonderful? Right? And so that's, you see, this pure thing which has nothing to do with us. The self makes it its own and uses it to ornament itself. Okay? Okay, that's all. So we want to get rid of the self, there'll be more and more empathy. Okay? So, we only have a little time this morning, so... You know where this is going. Soon he'll want to put makeup on. And he'll be coming up to adjust my hair,
Hopefully not rouge.
So I want to share with you this morning just some brief words from the Chan Master Lin Chi. So behind me, for those who can't see, we have a statue, and we have what's a painting, or Tibetan called tankas painting. And the statue behind me is of Bodhidharma. And again, remember Zen and Dzogchen were in this retreat, Great Perfection. So it is Bodhidharma who came from India. His name Bodhidharma is a Sanskrit name. He was not Chinese, he was Indian. And he's the one who is credited with coming from India and bringing the teachings that later became known as Chan and then Zen. Bodhidharma. Bodhi, enlightened mind, Bodhi. Dharma, teaching, practice, realization. And then behind Bodhidharma is a representation of Padmasambhava. Padmasambhava is also a Sanskrit name. He also came from India. Bodhidharma was thought to come from southern India. Padmasambhava came from Udayana, which I believe was somewhere up near Kashmir, Afghanistan, and that part of the world. But he was also a great Indian master, and he came to Tibet. And they both were about 8th, 9th century, both sort of contemporaries, not that they knew each other. And Padmasambhava is considered the one prime who brought the Dzogchen teachings, Great Perfection teachings, to Tibet. This is a very unusual representation of him because when you look, it looks like a rainbow. But if you look closely, you will see very detailed. His form is there. And there are two things. I mean, one thing, the rainbow is really a symbol for the inherent empty nature of everything, right? When you look at a rainbow, it appears to be something, to have a form. But yet, you can't, there's nothing there. Right? It just causes and conditions coming together. It creates something beautiful, but there's really nothing solid or permanent there at all. So this is a representation of his mind, we might say. But also, in a more practical way, in the Tibetan tradition, they believe that great meditator, great masters, some, when they die, their bodies they have what's called the rainbow body. And so there's a rainbow that appears, and when you go into their room, all that you find are just their nails, fingernails and toenails. So these are the two great founders of these two traditions. So I'm just going to run through some little pithy sayings of Master Lin Chi. And for those who are familiar with Thich Nhat Hanh, you know that his Zen lineage is the Lin Chi lineage, coming from China to Vietnam, and then being passed down through Vietnam, and he's in the Lin Chi tradition. So this is the founder of his lineage. The verses John Trust in Mind that we recite most mornings is written by the third Zen patriarch, which means from Bodhidharma, right, to more generations of masters. So this is Lin Chi. What I point out to you is only that you shouldn't allow yourselves to be confused by others. Act when you need to, without further hesitation or doubt. People today can't do this. What is their affliction? Their affliction is their lack of self-confidence. If you do not spontaneously trust yourself sufficiently, you will be in a frantic state, pursuing all sorts of objects and being changed by these objects, unable to be independent. Okay? So this teaching, this Dharma, this practice, as we go deeper into ourselves and have our own experience and trust our own experience and have our own knowing and know our own path and know our own values and know, how we are in the world, that's what we should trust, and we should have confidence in that. Right? The opposite of a confident person is a neurotic person. Right? The neurotic person is what? Could be this, but could be that. Should I do this? Should I do that? Or should I do that? The neurotic person, Hamlet. Remember Hamlet? Poor Hamlet. Right? But that's, always cautious, always in self-doubt, always seeing it from another side, unable to act decisively. Okay? We call that a classic neurotic. But it means that there's no confidence in one's own being, in one's own, again, one doesn't take a stand in the ground and in life, stand for something. What do you stand for? What do we stand for in this life? If we're just so wishy-washy and we just go along with everything and always doubt ourselves and we're swayed by this and we're swayed by that, we think we're this and somebody tells us this, maybe they're right, and then that's this, but then somebody tells you, no, don't listen to that. Oh, well, maybe I shouldn't be listening to that person. You see what I'm saying? It's always back. And even within oneself, there are all these competing voices and... Right. Act in Zen acting spontaneously, naturally, and a place of confidence. Just do it. Right? And deal with the consequences. That's all. Just deal with the consequences. What do you act. You do your best in the moment to act from a place of intelligence and goodwill, right? Skillfully. Just act. Something will happen. That's all. But people go, ooh, I really want to do the right thing here. Let me think about that. What could the right thing be? We just tie ourselves up in knots. That's what he's talking about. Act without hesitation or doubt. Or else you're pursuing all sorts of objects, being changed by those objects, unable to be independent. Now, this is not arrogance, okay? We're not talking about that. We're talking about something very deeper than that. Okay, is that clear? So this is some guidance for how to be in the world when we go back home. This is Master Lin Chi. He says, I have no doctrine to give people. I just cure ailments and unlock fetters. What a wonderful description of what the Buddhist teachings are about and what teachers are about, right? Well, just like the Buddha said, I do one thing, I teach the cessation of suffering. He says, it's not about a doctrine. He says, I have no doctrine to give people. I'm just here to cure their ailments and unlock their fetters. Right. The teachings, the teachers, the masters only want one thing, what? To help free us from our sufferings. In your study of Dharma, that should be your only aim. Right? We're not studying Dharma to accumulate knowledge. We're not studying Dharma to be able to, speak intelligently or about Buddhism. Leave that to the academics. Right? The Bodhidharma is to help us cure our ailments so we can be what? Well. We want to be healthy. Right? And unlock the fetters. Right? Alex talked about fetter last night. We want to unlock those. To free up that energy. So many people, they're tied up in knots. We use that as an expression, right? I'm just tied up in knots. We often feel that way. People say, I have a knot in my stomach. I got a knot in my chest. I got a knot in my throat. That's how we talk about our emotional life. Okay? See? Knots. Knots imply that rope, that in and of itself is unknotted. Right? The rope in and of itself is not knotted. We've made the knots. Right? And we haven't just made a little, bow. What do they call them? Bow tie knot. We've done these very intricate ones. Right? And then we've tripled down on them. Right? And it's just like, but it's all made of one rope. When I say there is nothing outside, students who do not understand me interpret this in terms of inwardness. So they sit silent and still, taking this to be Zen Buddhism. This is a mistake. If you take a state of unmoving clarity to be Zen, you are recognizing ignorance as a slave master. So this is very important. Because there is a lot of, talk in spirituality. It's all about turning within, right? Kind of developing an inwardness. And many people think that means that what we're trying to do is just create a kind of stillness inside, right? So if we can just sit quietly, stilly, mind at rest for a few minutes, this is the aim. This is what the Zen masters are talking about when they say turn inward. As you have learned over these past days, samatha is the beginning. Okay? Having a degree of calmness and clarity in the mind allows the penetration into deeper levels of the mind and the breakthrough out of the cocoon of self and conceptualization to occur. To take rest, to take inner quiet as the end result, he's very clear here, is not what Zen meditation is about. All that is happening, he says, you're recognizing ignorance as a slave, man. All that is happening is you've kind of settled down into your dualistic self-mind. You've just kind of come, it's just quieted down for a little bit. Is that clear? It's the ground of the dualistic mind. It's not breaking through into pristine awareness. Because it doesn't have an aliveness to it. It doesn't have a knowing quality to it. It's just very calm and peaceful and kind of dull. Right? Now again, many people who've, had lots of agitation in their life, emotional afflictions, go, whew, this feels good. Right? Again, that's why the masters warn us about this. And very clearly in all the traditions point out, this is not it. Don't get caught here. Because it's, it feels good. You go, oh, well, this certainly feels good. Right? But it's a trap. Because it is only, again, you've only, you're kind of like at the bottom of the garbage pit. So you're not in the, you know what I mean? It's not like you've dug your way to the bottom of the garbage pit, you've created some space around, and it's kind of like, oh, this is, at least I'm not in the garbage. You see a little space, and then you've lit your incense, you've got your, you know what I mean? You got your aromatic candle cooking, got a little nice music playing in the background, and you go, not bad. Not bad. This is it. Okay. But unfortunately, the delusions of duality have not been seen into. The false duality of the mind has not been seen into. The notion of self has not been seen into. Right? The real basic awareness, which is alive and luminous and spontaneous, has not been realized. Okay? So we need to continue on. This is very important that we know this. Again, it doesn't mean, that it doesn't feel good, but it's not the end. Okay? If you want to be free, get to know your real self. It has no form, no appearance, no root, no basis, no abode. Well, this is sort of related to what I was just sharing with you. If you want to be free, get to know your real self. It has no form, no appearance, no root, no basis, no abode, but is lively and buoyant. It responds with versatile facility, but its function cannot be located. Therefore, when you look for it, you become further from it. When you seek it, you turn away from it all the more. We sort of have been talking about that and experiencing that over these last 2 nights, and it sort of refers to what I was just saying. It has all these qualities, but when you try to find them, you can't find anything. Right? That's kind of the magic of all this, the mystery of all this. Right? We know it's there, but we can't find it. And yet, here it is. But when we look for something, we can't find a thing. You see? And yet, that's why we say we need to just let go, relax, relax, relax. It's already here. Okay? It's already here. We don't have to... The more we are looking for that nugget of gold on the gold planet, we will not see that we're already on a gold planet and have all the gold we could possibly need. Why am I chasing around this what? Everybody in this room has their little gold nuggets that they're chasing in life. Do you know what your gold nugget is? That you're spending all your time chasing. Because you think when you get it, then I'll really... Whatever that nugget represents to you, you think you'll have something. And all you'll have is a nugget. You already have the gold. You already have more gold than you could possibly use. Why are we chasing these little nuggets of pleasure, of happiness, of comfort, of security, of status, of things, more things, more things. I mean, everybody's, in our society's consumer, everybody, more things, more things, more things, more things, right? More knowledge, more websites, more information, more interesting experiences, more fun, fun, funny things, share funny things. I mean, we're just endlessly chasing these nuggets around the world, rather than coming home, where we have all the gold we need. What does the third patriarch say? This: their frantic pace just slows them down. We're so busy chasing after what? What are we so busy doing? I mean, when you stop and ask, what am I doing? I'm so busy. Right? What am I doing? I mean, is it, I mean, when I add it all up, what am I doing? What am I getting from all my busyness? What am I getting from all my all my interesting facts that I'm accumulating? All you got to do is watch 2 minutes of one debate, and you can turn it off. You don't have to watch the next 5 or 3 or the whole thing. I mean, how much do we need before we get it? And yet we just keep exposing ourselves to it, as if somehow more and more is going to do what? I mean, where does it get you? But what does it get you?
Dualistic thinking.
Or just it gets you all riled up. What? It just gets you all riled up. Stressed out. All, it doesn't take a genius to see what's going on, does it? And yet we're so easily, this is where it says, know yourself. We're so easily manipulated, right? Right? What do the experts say about this? The experts who are always wrong. You know, nobody checks up on there, but they're experts. And we, ooh, what is the experts? Got to read what this one says, got to read what that one says, listen to this one. For what? I mean, we have to, you know, this is what he's saying. You know, lead a life of value and meaning, and don't be wasting our time and turned around by this and turned around by that. You know, flipping channels, checking website. I mean, where does it get us? Just put your thoughts to rest and don't seek outwardly anymore. When things come up, then give them your attention. Just trust what is functional in you at present, and you have nothing to be concerned about. Okay? You know, we are leaving Southern Dharma, Franciscan Center today, and we are going back home. And you're going back to your life of dealing with stuff, dealing with things, dealing with life, dealing with people, dealing with choices, dealing with work, you know, all the things you do. You're going home and you're going to start dealing with them. Okay? Please listen. Just put your thoughts to rest and don't seek outwardly anymore. That's primary. That's what we've been doing these last couple of nights. Just let the mind be at rest. And don't let it go out always, grabbing onto the external world. Churning. Things come up, right? In life. Right? All kinds of things to deal with. Phone calls, emails, situations, right? That's what he's saying. When things come up, give them your attention and trust what is functional in you at present. Right? Again, he's saying functional means the capacity to deal with things. Right? Trust whatever is functional to you at the moment and is coming up in response to whatever is going on. Just trust that. And you have nothing to be concerned about. We're always concerned about what? Yeah, or did I do it right? What's going to happen if I do it wrong? What if I make a mistake? Right? So what? Anybody here ever make a mistake in their life? So what? I mean, we're all here. I mean, we have survived all our mistakes. The big ones, the little ones. The ones we didn't notice, maybe just a little bit. The ones we thought were the end of the world. Right? How many people have had those, this is the end of the world mistakes, just kind of just ate you up? Anybody? Yeah. Well, look, the world didn't end. It's a beautiful day. And we're here. I mean, right? You don't need a Zen master to tell you that. Right? Life is easy, right? When you live in this deep way, when you are using the tools of Dharma to give yourself a sense of who and what you really are, and you're living from a place of awareness, mindfulness, intelligence, compassion, you know. And then you're just, you know, you have your tools. Right? You don't need to anticipate and worry. You know, just whatever comes up, just deal with it. Do your best. Right? No moment is the last moment. There's always another moment. And another moment. And another moment. Right? Right? And if you just made a big screw up, what? Deal with it in the next moment. So what? Right? If you've hurt somebody's feelings, what do? You apologize. Mea culpa, you know. It's like, forgive me. Stupid. Right? Isn't that what all you do? I mean, what's the big deal? I mean, it's not like what's a big deal, like we're insensitive, but I mean, we just deal with it. Right? If we've made a fool of ourselves, okay, we've made a fool of ourselves. It's good. It's good for the self to see what a fool it is. You can laugh with everybody else. I mean, just laugh. That really was stupid what I just did. I mean, right? You know? Right? When you spill something, what do? Clean it up. You don't have to go, "Ooh, what an idiot I am." It's like, spill something, clean it up. You make a mess, you clean it up. Things don't turn out the way you thought they were. What do you do? You do something else. I mean, has anybody's life turned out exactly the way they thought it was? I mean, we'll take a random sample. We have about 40 plus here. Is anybody in this room, has their life turned out exactly the way they thought it was? No. No one. Have you found that is a constant experience, that things are not turning out the way you think they are? Things aren't going the way, people aren't acting. I mean, it's like the whole deal, right? I mean, that's so obvious. I mean, it's so obvious, and yet we act as if, like it's not obvious. Got to get this right. You know? Even if you make, right, so even if you made a big mistake, right, you've moved to the wrong town. Anybody ever moved to the wrong town? What? I mean, what do you do? What? What do you do? What do you do?
Quit.
Yeah, quit. You move. You move somewhere else. I mean, you know. Right. I mean, you know. Yeah. Right. You know. Right. You marry the wrong person. Anybody ever happened to anybody? You know. I mean, this is, you know. Right? I mean, do I need to go on? I mean, everything is workable. Everything is workable in this world. If you have the right attitude and the right tools, right? That's all you need. Just put thoughts to rest and don't seek outwardly anymore. When things come up, give them your attention. Trust what is functional in you at present, and you have nothing to be concerned about. Would anybody here like to go through life without being always concerned? All right, here it is. You know, you got nobody to blame going forward but who? Yourself, because you say, "Oh, I'm a real student of Dharma." Well, here's the teaching, right? A good student follows the teaching. And then it's simple. If you follow your own voice, you're always hearing the voice of the past. Until you have an authentic voice inside you that can be in the world and act, you know, listen to this. Just do it this way. See what happens. Put all your thoughts to rest. Don't seek outwardly anymore. When things come up, give them your attention. Just trust what is functional in you at present, and you have nothing to be concerned about. Wouldn't you like to be at ease? To live life without endless concerns about this and that? I mean, it doesn't get any simpler than this. I mean, right? I mean, this is like 2 sentences. It has a semicolon. So it's really only 2 sentences. When things come up, give them your attention. Trust what is functional in you at present, and you have nothing to be concerned about. Please put this into practice. Last but not least, please pay close attention and then we'll end. This is very important because because he's revealing now the supernormal faculties of an enlightened being. Everybody listening? The 6 supernormal faculties of the enlightened being are the ability to enter the realm of form without being confused by form, to enter the realm of sound without being confused by sound, to enter the realm of scent without being confused by scent, to enter the realm of flavor without being confused by flavor, to enter the realm of feeling without being confused by feeling, to enter the realm of phenomena without being confused by phenomena. Remind me of Thich Nhat Hanh's, the miracle is not to walk on water, the miracle is just to walk upon the earth. In Zen, these are our supernormal powers. It's not ESP, it's not flying through the air. It's not the power of prophecy, these are all things people think. It's I can enter all the realms of activity and be clear and unconfused. Right? I am not confused by things I see, by sounds I hear, by things I smell, by things I touch, by things I sense and feel, nor am I confused by any internal phenomena, thoughts, feeling, perception. Why? As we learned in these last few nights, because I know the nature of things. The empty nature of everything. The insubstantial nature of everything. And when you know that, you will not be confused. And you will have the supernormal powers of an enlightened one. Does it really sound that hard? No. Master Lin Chi. Okay. This is for those of you who follow Thich Nhat Hanh. This is the lineage. This is the founder of the lineage. If you say you're a follower of Thich Nhat Hanh, follow the Lin Chi Dharma. Okay? If we say we're a follower, but we don't follow their Dharma, we're not a follower. Okay. So please follow.